Hi, I'm Chris MAULUCCI, Product Support Coordinator for Therma-Tru Doors. Today we recreated some of the most common installation errors you'll see in the field today. Purpose of this video is to show you how to correct those errors. Let's get started. What we're doing now is we're stringing the door to check unit for plumb. I've already installed my thumbtacks. You want to make sure your thumbtacks are in a jam and not in a brick mold. You want to string it from corner to corner as I'm doing here. Coming down from the top to the bottom corner. Pulling the strings taut. The strings touch in the middle, unit's in plumb. If the strings do not touch, then you're out of plumb by twice that distance. Now I'm going to reverse the strings as you want to check both planes. This unit's in plumb. What we have here is light at the top corner. It's caused by an uneven door to jam measurement. If you see here, down at the bottom, we have a 1/2 inch measurement. And it telegraphs out to almost an inch. That's caused by either a warped door or an out of plumb lock jam. We've already taken a 6-foot level and applied it to our door and determined the door is not warped, so we're going to adjust the lock side jam. We're going to loosen the installation screws. Adjust the frame so we get a 1/2 inch measurement. As you can see now, we have a 1/2 inch measurement at the bottom and at the top. Another common area of water infiltration is torn or damaged weather strip. As you see here, we have weather strip that's torn. It's easy to replace. You just pull it right out with your thumb and forefinger. It's a friction fit weather strip. When you get your new weather strip, it's going to come a little longer than the one you already have. You want to lay them out and cut them to length. I've already done that. Reinstall the new weather strip with the friction fit. Just push it in with your fingers. And the weather strip's replaced. Problem we have here is light showing in the bottom corners of the door. The reason for that, corner pads have not been installed. What happens to the corner pads on the job site? That's right, they're thrown in the garbage. You don't want to do that. The corner pads are a very integral part of the Therma-Tru door system. Let's get those corner pads installed. First thing you do is get a good clean surface for the pad to stick to. Clean off the saddle. Clean up the door jam. Pull out and unstick your corner pad. We get a good clean caulk joint. You want to stick your corner pad in so it's even with the saddle. You don't want it too far in or too far back. There you have it. No more light. What we have here, we have some hinge bind with some light coming through on the lock side. During the course of the inspection, we've determined that the weather strip's been reversed. What I mean by that, Therma-Tru offers two types of weather strip, a medium reach and a long reach. The medium reach should always be on the hinge side and the long reach on the lock side. If you look, the long reach got a little lip on there, help give it some sealing. What we're going to do now is then properly install the weather strip and eliminate the hinge bind and the light. We've properly installed the weather strip, eliminating hinge bind, and eliminating the light through the lock side. What we have here is a high point in the sill. It's causing interference with the door bottom. We're not getting proper contact. You can verify this by putting a level on the sill. As you can see, it's rocking back and forth. We've already tried to adjust the sill to correct this and we're unsuccessful. What we have to do now, remove the saddle, screw into the subfloor to level it out. That'll give us the proper contact. To remove the adjustable saddle, we first have to take off the corner pads, peel back the weather strip, and then release the adjustment screws. Taking off the corner pad, cleaning out any caulk joint that might be there. Peeling back the weather strip, and it's very easy. Thumb and forefinger, give it a good tug, pulls right out. We now do the same for the other side. Now we're going to remove the adjustable saddle. You do that by backing out the screws. We're going to use power tools to do that. Whenever you use power tools, always make sure you have your safety glasses. To remove the adjustable saddle, we're going to back the screws out, work on our way down the sill. Got all the screws loose. It's a little snug. Take a firm putty knife, get behind the composite nosing, work your way down, flip up the cap, pre-drill the hole, screw the screw into the subfloor, and get a level sill. During the course of pre-drilling the hole, I noticed excessive wear on the cap. It's a good opportunity to replace the cap. You pull the cap off. It's got a little rubber gasket, it pulls right off. We have our new adjustable cap. Each cap comes from the factory cut a little long, so I've lined up the screws with the holes in the sill and cut accordingly. Also want to put a little bead of sealant on, get a good clean seal on the end of the unit. The sills that come from the factory already have that caulk there. The replacement caps do not, so I'm going to do that now. Want to make sure the gasket's pushed firmly on the lip on the threshold. Now we're ready to screw the cap down. Got the cap installed. Pushing back in the weather stripping. Now we're going to adjust the saddle to the proper height using the dollar bill method, and then install the corner pads. You start in the screw adjacent to the hinge side first, working your way down, which I've already done. I'm on the last screw. Apply the dollar bill. Close the door. And you pull the dollar bill through. You want enough tension that it pulls on it, but not enough it's going to rip it. What we have here is water coming around the sill. Our hacksaw blade test determined there's not enough sealant between our sill and the subfloor. Do want to resolve that, take the unit out, reinstall it, making sure you caulk between your sill and your subfloor. Another area of water infiltration is where the sill and the jamb meet. It may have been racked during installation, or the caulk seal may have broken during transportation. We're going to go ahead and caulk that now. What we have here is a door saddle that's adjusted too high. It's caused tension on the door bottom gasket and it damaged it. It needs to be replaced. We're going to do so by removing the door, simply by taking the hinge pins off. I've removed the door. I'm now going to remove the gasket. Works well if you use a stiff putty knife or flathead screwdriver. Pull the gasket completely off. I'm going to clean off any residue or staples that might be left behind. We removed the old door bottom gasket. I have the new one, which I've pre-caulked. Caulk a U-shape, going just past the kerfs. We're now going to install the new door bottom gasket. Push it into the kerfs, lining it up at the very edge of the door. Push firmly and staple. After we have it stapled, press it into the curves the rest of the way down. Now we want to staple the bottom. Now we're going to put the door back in the unit. If you notice, I've put some protective coverings on to protect the finished surfaces here on the side and on the bottom. Let's put the door in. Close the door. When you pull the dollar bill through, you want enough tension that it pulls on it, but not enough it's going to rip it. During the course of your field inspection, you may notice some sealant gaps between your sidelight panel, your jamb, and your brick mold. Also may notice some gaps here between your siding and your brick mold. You want to make sure that gets caulked. We have a set here today, but in a drill job site, you're going to need to do that. Double doors are one of the hardest doors to install in the door industry. What we have here is a situation we see all too often. We have a door with lack of shims behind the hinges and not a plumb door. To remedy this, we're going to plumb up the door and install the shims behind the hinges. We've already plumbed the door. As you can see, we have hinge bind here. It's causing tension on the hinge. As you move the door in and out, you'll see the jamb and the hinge move. I'm going to install the shims, eliminate that situation, and put the long screws to secure it. As you can see, we fixed the hinge bind. Another area of light and water infiltration is an improperly adjusted strike plate. What we have here is a strike plate that's adjusted too loose. With Therma-Tru's patented adjustable strike plate, we can loosen the strike screws, push in the tongue, tighten it back up, and get that door snug against the weather strip. Let's do it. Now we get a tight seal against the weather strip. During the course of your field inspection, when you have a door that's hinged off the maul, such as the patio unit, which we have here, or a side-lighted unit, you always want to make sure the long screw is installed in the top hinge, one in the middle hinge, and one in the bottom hinge. What I mean by long screws, we have a 3/4 inch number 2 head and a 2.5 inch number 3 head. When it comes to your location, it should already have the long screws installed. I've noticed during the inspection they're not there, so we'll go ahead and replace them. First thing is to take out the small screws. It's always the 2 screws closest to the weather strip, 2 in the top hinge. One in the middle hinge. One in the bottom hinge. Now I'm going to need a pre-drill for the long screws. Making sure I'm changing my bit from a number 2 head to a number 3 head. We've installed the 2.5 inch screws, came to install some extra anchoring, so it's going to be secure for the life of the unit. What we have here is a door that's sagging and rubbing at the top. It's being caused by not a square frame or the absence of the long 2.5 inch hinge screws. During the course of the inspection, we determined that the hinge screws are missing, so we're going to re-shim and reinstall the long 2.5 inch hinge screws. As you can see, we've reinstalled the shims, installed the long 2.5-inch hinge screws. We've eliminated the sag and the rubbing. And we now have a properly functioning door unit. The most common cause of a frame being out of square is the unlevel subfloor. To remedy this, you find the lowest jam leg, shim underneath it, being sure to caulk underneath the sill. We've identified the lowest jam leg, we're shimming underneath it, again, being sure to caulk between the sill and the subfloor when you're done. The situation we see all too often in the field is one we have here. We have a unit that's installed through the brick mold only using framing nails. The proper way to install a unit is to secure the frame to the thickest part of the jam using screws, as we've shown here. Today we cover some more common installation issues and the recommended techniques on how to correct them. If you encounter anything we haven't covered here today, please feel free to call 1-800-Therma-Tru or your local territory manager. Thank you.